All right, let's go.
No.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to Super Popcorn Friends Club.
I forgot we had a different name.
We have a different name. Well, this is only like the fifth one of these we've done, I think.
Yeah, because they're exhausting.
They are exhausting. I'm Mike.
I'm tired.
And this week, it's another big anniversary.
Magic Johnson?
Somebody's turning 30.
Oh, so probably not Magic Johnson.
No, he's probably more like 60.
That's 2 30s.
That's true. I don't know that it's accurate.
It was just a shot in the dark.
Yeah. No, it's Pokemon. Pokemon's been around for 30 years now.
What's a Pokemon?
Shut up.
What?
You love Pokemon. You always pretend you don't know what Pokemon is.
I don't know what it is, and also I hate it.
You're the one who taught me how to play it good.
That was a long time ago.
Another life. We watched the first movie.
We sure did.
I don't really feel a need. We've talked about Pokemon lots of times. We don't need to pull out that. Did you watch this movie when it came out?
I've never seen this movie in its entirety.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
I've seen the end.
Oh, I'm surprised. I thought you would have seen it. I thought everybody would have seen it.
No.
What Pokemon movies have you seen? You've seen some, right?
I have seen Manaphy. That's it.
Really?
Uh-huh.
That's the one I knew you'd seen. I didn't know it was the only one you've seen.
It sure is.
Wow. Because I was watching the anime when it was first coming out. I fell off of the anime during Gold and Silver, but I kept watching the movies up until I think it was like midway through Black and White when I got tired of the movies. But this one, I remember when this one came out, I was in high school, and I first saw it on a bootleg VHS tape that circulated around the school.
Sketchy.
In fact, I made copies of it for people because I had two. I was the only person who had two VCRs, and I was ingenious enough to hook them up to each other so I could copy a tape. So I made a few copies for people. But I have no idea where the tape originally came from. Someone just gave it to me and was like, "Do you know how to copy this?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. I can do that."
I don't think it came from anywhere. It's just one of those things that exists in order to spread stories of one's childhood.
Yeah.
It's just a plot device.
This movie was released in theaters in Japan on July 18th, 1998. One day after my 12th birthday? Yeah. It's produced by OLM, the same studio that make the TV show. And it's distributed by Toho, the company famous for Godzilla.
I didn't see a single Godzilla in this movie.
I did, but maybe I was looking harder for one.
No, I think you imagined it.
Oh, okay.
I didn't see a Ghidorah. I didn't see a Rodan. Not a single Mothra.
But they had the ocean that Godzilla comes out of at the very beginning over the Toho logo. That's what that is.
That doesn't count.
This movie was written by Takashi Shudo, the head writer of the TV show. We've talked about him before. So we don't need to talk about him again.
Good.
When it was originally in theaters, it was shown along with a short called Pikachu's Vacation. We didn't watch that today. We'll watch that some other time. I feel like Pikachu's Vacation deserves its own episode.
Like episode or cereal bar?
No, it's long enough for an episode, I think.
That's too much movie. That's too much time to be sitting in a movie theater.
Well, the thing is, this movie got revised several times and it got a little bit longer each time. And what we watched was the third and final version.
The Great Longening?
Yeah, the original theatrical cut was released on VHS and Laserdisc. But for the first TV airing, they released a new cut of the movie called the Kanzenban version, which means the full version. And this version added a ton of CGI to the movie, like all the clouds of the storm and the parts of the castle that were 3D in what we watched were originally hand-drawn. I've never seen the hand-drawn versions. I'd like to.
Yeah, that sounds better than stupid CGI.
Yeah, but it also added an extra 10 minutes to the beginning of the movie, known as The Birth of Mewtwo, which was an adaptation of an audio drama that was originally released alongside the movie.
Audio drama?
Yep, this is the version that the English dub was based on, although most of those extra 10 minutes from the beginning were cut after being dubbed.
Why?
They dubbed them and then cut them.
Why?
We'll get to why. Okay. We'll get to why. But that all of that stuff that was cut ended up later being released as a special feature on the Mewtwo Returns DVD. And then when the Kanzenban version was released in Japan on VHS, it added another 5 minutes to the beginning of the movie, explaining the world of Pokemon and briefly recapping the first episode of the show. So that's the version we watched. The second VHS release of the movie.
Okay.
Originally, this movie was supposed to release after a bunch of teaser scenes in the anime had aired, but thanks to the anime going on hiatus after the Porygon episode, all of those teaser scenes ended up airing after the movie was released.
Oh.
But there were a lot of just little teasers in the show. Tying into the movie, which I don't think they ever did again. I think ever since this one, they've kept the show and the anime very separate, probably because of the fact that those teasers ended up airing later. So they were like, let's not risk that again.
Just stop making episodes that give people seizures.
They did.
Well, then they shouldn't have been worried.
They found other reasons to go on hiatus. Sometimes they made an episode about an earthquake right when an earthquake hit. Things like that happened all the time.
That didn't stop Minky Momo.
Hey, and Takashi Shudo was the head writer of Minky Momo too, so...
See?
Maybe he just has the power to create earthquakes with his writing.
I think that's true. Yeah.
Anyway, let's get into this movie, shall we?
No.
We open up with the narrator telling us about the world of Pokemon, while we see lots of sweeping shots of them living in the wild in different habitats. This is one of my favorite things to see, just Pokemon in the wild.
Yeah.
I think that's why I like Pokemon Snap so much, because you're just, checking them out and taking pictures of them.
You just look at them.
Yeah, and they're just doing their thing in the wild. They're not in balls being thrown around.
No, but you throw things at them. That's pretty rude.
You can. I guess you're supposed to, but you don't have to.
But you should. If you want to be a real photographer, you have to throw mud balls at them.
What do you think these David Attenborough documentary filmmakers are doing? They're throwing balls.
Chasing lemmings off of cliffs.
They're throwing pester balls all around the savannah.
And apples to get them to come closer to the camera.
Oh yeah, of course. In new Pokemon Snap, you can throw a thing that makes them glow, but I don't like that. I don't like it when they're glowing. They don't look natural anymore.
No, that sounds confusing and frightening.
Yeah. There's everything else about that game I really like, but I've never used the glowy mechanic, even though you're supposed to.
Why? What does it do?
It just makes them glow.
Other than make them... That's it? There's no, secret unlock criteria to get a picture of Jigglypuff breakdancing or something?
Yeah, probably. I don't remember. I mainly just remember that it makes them glow. The whole plot was revolving around the glowy thing, so it must have done something else, but you could use it whenever, and I only used it when it was required. So anyway, I like to look and see all the different things that we can spot in scenes like this where there's a lot of stuff going on. There's not as much going on in the later movies when they do these World of Pokemon things. There's thousands of them on screen at once. And it never got that crazy in this one.
They only had like 10 Pokemon back then.
Yeah, I know. And I feel like there's only like 5 per scene at most
Yeah.
in this part. So first we get the ocean with Lapras, Starmie, Seaking, Gyarados, and Tentacool in it. And then we go up to the shore where we see Slowbro, Seal, and Dugong. There's just like one Slowbro, and he's just looking at all the Seal and Dugong.
That sounds like Slowbro.
Then we're on a mountain where there's a ton of Diglett, and there's some Geodude, Graveler, and a Golem. And then we're in a forest, and there's Victreebel, and Oddish, and Caterpie, and Scyther, and Beedrill. And then I think my favorite shot, the like sunset on the plain, where there's just a couple of Rhyhorn grazing and a herd of Ponyta and Rapidash running by in the distance. That was nice.
I liked seeing Jigglypuff again.
Yeah, the nighttime in the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, actually, that shot's kind of special because not only is Jigglypuff there singing...
That's the only time we see Porygon again?
It's the only time, I think might be the only time that Porygon... This might be Porygon's biggest role outside of Japan.
Poor Porygon.
Jigglypuff's on a chain link fence singing, and a Weezing floats by, and then there's a Voltorb and an Electrode, and Porygon's behind the fence just kind of looking at us. And,
in jail.
Yeah, in jail. This is... I had a look, and there's been like other brief cameos of Porygon, but I think this is the most focus it ever had after the seizures episode, which never got released outside Japan, obviously, so...
Poor little guy.
This is the most that Porygon's ever been seen in animated form. So we go to a stadium where the concept of Pokemon battle is explained, and we watch Agatha's Gengar fight Bruno's Onix.
Do they just like fight each other to keep things fresh? Or like do they determine the order that you fight them in the Elite Four?
I think they do. Yeah, I think it's like every now and then they just have a little Elite Four tournament.
An Elite Fournament?
An Elite Fournament. Just to be kind of like, well, all right, is this still the order that we're in? Agatha's like the third one, right? I think Agatha is higher up than Bruno.
Yeah, Bruno's the first one, right?
No, I think Lorelei's the first one. I think Bruno's
Maybe
the second one.
Okay, and then Agatha.
But yeah, this is the same fight that we saw at the beginning of the first episode of the TV show, but with more detail. Because we didn't get to see Agatha in the TV show. We did see Bruno. I mean, we don't see either of them properly here either, but we see them in silhouette.
Right.
And we saw Bruno in silhouette in the first episode of the show, but we didn't see Agatha at all.
Remember when Hyper Beam was the hotness, the best move?
Yeah, I do.
What a time. Was in Generation 1, if you killed something with Hyper Beam, didn't you not have to recharge?
Oh, good question. I don't remember. That's one of those things that's definitely a glitch, but at the time would have, like as a kid, I would have just been like, yeah, that's on purpose.
It's because I'm such a good Pokemon trainer.
So the rest of this segment just remakes a bunch of scenes from that first episode, but in movie quality animation. And it was real nice to look at, but it was kind of confusing to my brain. This is my first time seeing this, by the way. I've never watched this movie. I've never watched the Japanese version of this movie before. So all of these reanimated scenes from the first episode, I think they're working from the same storyboards because the layouts and like the single drawings of some of the scenes look exactly the same, but the movements are so much more detailed and expressive. It was just jarring jarring to look at because I was like, I know this scene, but I don't know it this smooth.
It's too uncanny now.
I know, I really liked it, but it just confused me, that's all. I felt like it was tampering with my memories. So it explains how Ash met and befriended Pikachu, shows him seeing Ho-Oh. This opening segment wasn't dubbed originally, but it was added to the beginning of the 4th and 5th movies. But they cut most of that section about Ash's journey, which is why that was all new animation to me.
Good, I didn't want to watch it again.
They just left in the Pokemon part. And now we're in a jungle. This is where the original TV Kanzenban version picked up. with some scientists searching for Mew, talking about the legends of it.
Remember when that ancient Mew card was the new hotness?
Yeah, that's actually the second movie that was tying into.
Really? You see it in this one and then they released it for the second?
No, you know what? That's what I thought. I thought it was for this movie because I thought that the picture on it was this carving that we see in the jungle here.
Right, this goofy little guy.
Right, but it's not. I looked up the card and it looks way different.
It looks kind of similar, but like the one in the movie, he's like doing a little dance.
Yeah, it's like the ancient Mew card was like, it's all like purple and has all these hieroglyphs on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that card actually appears in the second movie. And then they also made it real.
I wanted that card so bad.
Yeah, I didn't get it. You had to go on day one. You had to go to the theater on day one to see the movie to get that card. And if you went on any other day like I did, you got one of the legendary birds instead.
Wah wah.
Yeah.
I didn't get any of them.
You know, because you never saw the movie.
No, I didn't.
That's why. In case you didn't
really
figure it
racist. Against people that didn't see the movie.
I like that they have this conversation as they're walking up to the temple about whether Mew is an angel or a devil.
That cute little thing being a devil.
Yeah.
Just like a real cat.
Don't they tell a story about how it like caused a huge flood which wiped out tons of stuff but also saved the crops or something. So like, was it a good thing or a bad thing that it did?
I don't know, but I feel like Teams Aqua and Magma have been fighting over that same concept.
It's true.
Since time immemorial.
There's a Mew following the scientists, and they're mostly unaware of it, though they do see its shadow for a second while they're looking at the carving.
Doing its funny little dance.
Yeah, the Mew's shadow falls across the carving and they all turn around and see nothing there. And I feel like they just kind of let it go really quickly.
Yeah. They're out in the jungle and they're just like, oh, whatever. It's not like there would be a predator.
But they have found a fossilized Mew eyelash.
Why an eyelash?
I don't know. I never really thought of Mew as having eyelashes, but I never really thought of it as having fur either, and apparently it does, so.
I mean, I assumed it had fur. I didn't think it was just like a shiny, weird fetus cat.
Yeah, I did. I thought you, like, rub your finger on it, it would squeak.
Ew.
That's what I thought about Jigglypuff and Wigglytuff too, but apparently they're all furry.
That, I feel like, is an easier mistake to make than a kitty cat.
I never really saw it as a kitty cat. I don't know why.
It's named Mew.
So?
And it looks like a kitty cat.
But it's called Mew in Japan too, and their cat noise is nya. So? Oh,
right, because Japan has never borrowed any of our words.
Why would they borrow that one?
Because it's a cute word.
Anyway, they've got this eyelash and they plan to use it to create the ultimate Pokemon. So then we see scientists working on it in a lab, and there's a version of the Victory Road theme playing. I didn't expect that. In the original English release, it skips from here to the beginning of what was the original Japanese theatrical opening. But in the Japanese TV release, which we're watching, we now see Mewtwo as a baby in a dark void. All of this baby Mewtwo stuff was cut from the English version.
All of it?
All of it.
So, like, it just starts with Mewtwo, like, breaking out, or, like, even that?
Yeah, it goes straight from the scientists working on the eyelash to the, like, bubbles rising before Mewtwo wakes up and breaks out.
You know, that makes sense, because one of the things that kind of confused me about this movie, I was like, Do we never see anything about the little girl ever again? Like, what's happening?
No, because she originally came from the audio drama. She wasn't part of the movie originally. This is the section that's adapted from the audio drama. They didn't take everything from the audio drama because another part of the audio drama was about Jessie's mom, who was apparently a Team Rocket agent who went missing in the mountains searching for Mew.
Oh.
And that's why Jessie grew up in foster care, because her mom went missing looking for Mew.
I didn't know that, but I was remembering that she went to school with a Chansey.
Yes. She wanted to be a nurse. She wanted to be like a Nurse Joy, but she couldn't afford actual nurse school, so she went to Pokemon nurse school.
Do you think when somebody applies to be a Nurse Joy, you have to send in a picture and they have to just be like, I don't know how to tell you this, but you're just not cut out for this job. Your face, it's too different.
I think they just give her more plastic surgery. That's part of the job. So this baby Mewtwo is played by Shotaro Morikubo, who is the voice of Mega Man X himself.
The guy?
The guy. He also played Yosuke in Persona 5. No, I'm sorry. I meant Persona 4. I'm just so used to saying 5.
You have a problem.
And Ryudo in Grandia 2. In English, young Mewtwo was played by Philip Bartlett, which is the stage name of Jay Goedi? Goedi? I don't know how that's pronounced. Looks like Geodude to me.
Maybe it is. Maybe he's a Geodude.
He's best known as a Broadway actor, and he also plays adult Mewtwo as well. But we don't actually hear him playing young Mewtwo in this movie at any point, so never mind.
Okay.
So Mewtwo's got all these existential questions.
Yeah, he's like 3 seconds old and he wants to know why he's alive.
Yeah.
Wait until you're teens to ask those questions, Mewtwo.
Outside of his tank, he can hear humans discussing him. And a little girl shows up in the void to give him answers. Her name is Aitu. She's played by Kyoko Hikami, who we know as the voice of Ellis in Battle Arena Toshinden, and the voice of Lisa in Final Fantasy Unlimited. Lisa Pacifist?
I forgot that was her name! Oh, what a dumb show. We have to watch more.
In the dubbed version of this, they renamed Aitu to Amber 2, and she's played by Kerry Williams, who we know as the voice of Tiff in Kirby.
I remember her this time.
But next time she might not be so lucky.
What if I concocted a new friend and started calling him Mike 2?
If you did it.
Yeah.
Okay, that wasn't clear, because at first I thought you were talking about the little girl.
Oh, no. If me. If me did it.
I think that's likely why they renamed her Amber for the English version. Yeah, if you did it while I was still alive, I'd be a bit more concerned. If you did it while I was dead, I just don't think I'd know about it.
No, you're still alive.
Oh, okay. What's the point? Do you... Listen, Mel. I don't think you've thought this through, because all that means is that there's going to be 2 of me.
No, what that means is that I'm going to start my own podcast with Mike 2, and it's me doing a bad voice through a puppet.
Oh, I see. Is that what you're going to quit this podcast to do?
Yeah, I'm working on my passion project with my best friend Mike 2.
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, shall we?
There's just something inherently crazy about naming something Name 2.
Does it bother you with Mewtwo, or is it just with that it's a problem?
I guess it's everyone but Mewtwo, because I've known Mewtwo for 30 years.
Right.
And, like, I never saw the movie, so I never really understood the connection. I knew about it, but I was like, I don't buy this clone of Mew. It doesn't look anything like a Mew. It looks like a bulbous Super Saiyan Mew.
Yeah. Looks like Frieza Mew.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of questions about whether he's a human or a Pokemon.
Yeah.
And I feel like I2 just like confuses him further about that.
Right. She's not helpful.
No. She seems to kind of be having some existential problems herself, because at one point she questions whether she's actually a Pokemon.
She is aware that she is not real. She's dead, and she's just a hologram. So, like, why not?
Yeah. We've also got Bulbasaur 2, Charmander 2, and Squirtle 2 here as well.
See, that sounds like crazy talk. Bulbasaur 2.
Outside, the scientists are monitoring the brainwaves of all the clones, and they realize they're communicating with each other. And I'm assuming it's Mewtwo's telepathic powers allowing it. I'm assuming this had never happened before.
Right. I think that's the implication.
Yeah. I explains to Mewtwo that since they're copies, they're all number 2s.
You're stupid.
I didn't think about it that way until I said it out loud. Outside, we learn that I2 is a clone of Dr. Fuji's daughter. Dr. Fuji is played by Yosuke Akimoto, who played Gunrock in Power Stone and Zaldin in Kingdom Hearts. In English, he's played by Philip Bartlett, who is also Mewtwo. He's obviously a stand-in for Mr. Fuji, who we know from the games.
Right.
Because they have the same role here as Mewtwo's creator.
Mewtwo's
But
dad.
aside from the name and being the one who created Mewtwo, they really have nothing in common. Like, he doesn't look anything like Mr. Fuji. Mr. Fuji, by the time we meet him in the games, has, like, retired to Lavender Town, where he's trying to, like, make amends for the horrible mistake he made in making Mewtwo. But who knows, maybe Dr. Fuji went on and lived that same life, though it sure seems like he dies.
It seems like everybody on this island is just eviscerated in one blast.
Yeah, and we never see them again. So... But yeah, we see a flashback of him excitedly showing his wife that he's revived their dead daughter's consciousness. And his wife leaves him.
Yeah, the next scene is Dear John and her wedding ring.
I like that it transitioned to, like, we see her hand, like, tense into a fist around the banister, and then it fades to the ring on her finger into the ring lying on the note that she's left him.
Yeah.
Along with her house key. I thought that was a cool shot. It's dark. This is a dark opening.
That's what I mean, and it feels so disconnected from the rest of the movie.
Yeah, it does. There's a definite disconnect. We'll get to it. We'll get to it when we get to it. But for now, Dr. Fuji thinks that because of the strength of Mew's life force, he might finally be able to bring Ai back. But it's so odd because, like, he is clearly thinking this is going to be his daughter back to life.
Right.
And I guess he's never been able to have a conversation with this clone he's made, since all it is the consciousness. There's no, like, mouth or anything to talk to him. And he straight up like, when he realizes that she's communicating with Mewtwo, he's wondering what she might be saying. So he has no way of, like, communicating with her. But he's thinking it's going to be his daughter back, but I2 clearly knows that she's not the original Ai. She's, like, very aware that she's a copy.
Right. I mean, that's the problem with copies. The second you create them, they're an individual thing.
I suppose that's what Astro Boy's all about.
Yeah.
Because the Astro Boy was also he was a robot copy of the scientist's dead son. And that whole, like, beginning chapter is the scientist slowly realizing that Astro Boy has a different personality than his son had.
Right.
And he ends up rejecting him and getting rid of him because he just can't face it. Astro Boy is also very dark and sad.
they can have every single memory that you had, but the second they're actually created, like they become their own thing, your paths diverge from that point forward.
Yeah. So in the mind void, I is kind of like filling in the world with the memories of her life, or of her previous self's life. And she teaches Mewtwo and the other clones about the sun and the wind and the stars and the moon, and they're all kind of existing, floating above the city that she remembers from her other self's childhood. And then all of a sudden,
everybody dies.
Well, Charmander 2 starts to fade away first. And outside we see the scientists report that Charmander 2 has died. And they aren't surprised. This apparently keeps happening. Squirtle 2 and Bulbasaur 2 also fade away, and Mewtwo's confused. But as he asks I2 where the others went, she starts to fade away too.
So, like, does I2 die every single time as well?
No, I think there was only the one of her.
Okay.
And this is the, like, one time she's died. I think, like, based on my understanding of it anyway.
It was Mewtwo. He sucked out all of her brain juice.
You think it was Mewtwo's fault?
No, I don't, but I'm gonna blame him. But, like, the timing is a little spooky.
Yeah. As she's fading away, the world that they were existing in is also fading away because it was based on her memories. Mewtwo starts to cry, but he doesn't understand why. And she tells him, and this is another thing that I think confuses him very much.
Yeah.
She tells him that animals only cry tears when their bodies are hurt, and only human beings cry tears out of sadness.
Spoiler alert, this movie ends with every Pokemon crying.
Well, I think this was foreshadowing of that. I think...
Saying that Pokemon are humans?
No, I think that she was just wrong. I think that...
Stupid little dead kid.
I think that what we learn over the course of the movie is that Pokemon have a deeper emotional spectrum than maybe what scientists understand. Which is much like what I was talking about with the dogs earlier.
I was just about to say, you mean like those dogs pushing those buttons?
Yeah, because I was watching videos about how scientists are starting to realize that dogs have a deeper emotional understanding than what we thought, thanks to them using these buttons to like communicate words. And yeah, I think that's probably what they were going for with the movie as well.
Have they tried setting down button boards to see what Pikachu has to say?
I'm pretty sure Pikachu just will press the catch-up button over and over again.
They'll have like 30 buttons set out and he just keeps pushing the one that says Pikachu.
Saves him a lot of time. So right before she vanishes completely, I thanks Mewtwo for crying for her. And now he's left alone in a dark void, and his emotions begin to run out of control.
Yeah, that sounds like me.
And the scientists administer a sedative to put him to sleep. He's the only clone left. Eye's gone. The other three are gone. We see their empty tanks. It's like...
Yeah, like they immediately got dissolved into goo.
Oh, I just assumed they took the bodies out and were just like, right, throw them in the dumpster.
There's like weird particles in there that just makes me think that they got reabsorbed in the amniotic fluids of their tubes.
Suppose it could be that, yeah. Yeah, I never thought about it that way. Anyway, Mewtwo sleeps for a long, long time. We don't really know how long, but he ages in the process. This is like the only example we've ever seen of Pokemon aging that isn't just evolution.
Right.
It's weird to think about.
It's weird to think about like a 50-year-old Igglybuff that just never evolves, but it's real old.
Yeah, well, it was never happy enough to evolve.
Just a miserable old man Igglybuff.
There's actually, now that I think about it, there has been an old man Trico in the show once. So I guess it does happen.
It's just funnier when it's Igglybuff, because Trico just needs levels to evolve.
Yeah. Anyway, adult Mewtwo is played by Masachika Ichimura, the Japanese voice of Jack Skellington. He also played Red 13 in Advent Children. And we've already talked about, in fact, we've talked about 4 character voice actors. No, 3. We've talked about 3 character voice actors so far. No, yeah, 4. We've talked about 4 character voice actors so far. And 3 of them have been Philip Bartlett in the English version.
What if he was just every character, including Misty?
I just remembered something that I forgot to put in the notes.
What?
Hang on, I'm going to add it to the notes right now so that I don't forget to bring it back up. I'll tell you when we get there.
Fine, leave me in suspense.
It's a thing about something that almost happened for the dub.
Philip Bartlett was going to be the voice?
Someone was going to be the voice. Anyway, we're now caught up to the opening of the original Japanese theatrical release.
17 minutes in.
When it's the black screen with those bubbles rising up, that's where the movie originally opened, when it was first in theaters.
Okay.
So we see some beautiful scenes of a lake bed and a mountain as Mewtwo talks about his memories of a place he's never seen.
He has primordial memories from Mew.
Yeah, he's watching Mew fly away into the horizon, and he's never been able to forget that image. But when he opens his eyes for the first time, he just sees a bunch of scientists gathered around his tank looking at him, and he goes back to sleep.
That's what I would do too.
And the next time he wakes up, he decides it's time for him to be born now and destroys his tank. That really is what he decides, right?
Yes.
He says as much.
I'm done sleeping. Time to wake up.
The scientists explain Mewtwo's origins to him. And now knowing that all the I2 stuff was added later, it makes more sense that Dr. Fuji does not seem upset at all.
Right.
But then, it's been a long time has passed, I guess, that Mewtwo's been asleep and growing, so maybe he's had time.
Yeah, this is his new child.
Yeah, maybe he's had time to deal with it that we just didn't get to see because it was off screen. So Fuji explains how they created him. He tells him about Mew. Mewtwo's got more existential questions. Who are his parents? If he doesn't have parents, did God create him? The scientists don't answer his questions very well because they're more interested in congratulating each other.
Yeah. He's like, no, I created you, stupid.
Yeah, they're all just kind of like shaking hands and talking about how great they are. Meanwhile, Mewtwo, if they were paying any attention to him, they might have had a little bit of a warning that he was about to fly into a rage.
A telepathic Carrie-esque rage.
But they don't notice until he starts destroying the lab.
Well, how did this happen? Who could have predicted?
It seems like the only countermeasure they have is that 1 million robot hands come down from the ceiling and try to grab him.
I have a lot of questions about the poor countermeasures in place for this superhuman Pokemon.
I mean, I feel like this is a common, poor countermeasures is what almost always goes wrong in science, I feel like.
They're so busy sciencing that they forget to think about what happens when it goes wrong.
Yeah, they're so busy trying to hook ChatGPT up to the missile launch system.
What if we don't create the Torment Nexus? What would life be like?
How would we ever know?
You don't know that the Torment Nexus is the end of all things until we create it and end all things.
We're just here to answer if we can, not if we should.
And the answer is yes, we can. Here it is.
So anyway, Mewtwo's powers are far too much. All of the countermeasures fail.
All hands have been squished.
He destroys the entire island and presumably kills everyone. And then who should show up but our old friend?
Who?
Giovanni.
Oh, that guy.
I'm not going to talk about Giovanni's voice actors. In fact, any character who debuted in the series before this movie, we'll just skip over their voice actors, because otherwise there's a lot of voices to talk about.
Yeah.
But yeah, Giovanni arrives with his Persian in a helicopter. Mewtwo feels it has proven itself to be the world's strongest Pokemon, but Giovanni warns him that humans are stronger than Pokemon. I don't know if that's true.
That's not true at all. That's like saying that humans are stronger than bears.
Well, I guess like with technology.
That doesn't count.
I feel like Mewtwo is the only Pokemon... Well, even the Master Ball, now that I think about it, like the Master Ball can catch Mewtwo easy.
But like, I feel like that shouldn't count.
No.
I, as a single human being, am not stronger than a bear because I can use a gun.
I don't know. I think it might count.
No, it doesn't.
Like, bear can't use gun.
You don't know that.
Yes, they do. They can't get their big old paws in the trigger.
Have you tried?
They're designed specifically to stop a bear from firing it.
Anti-bear measures.
That's why they've got that little, like, loop bit. So the bear can't
I would
fit
not
its
say
paw
that
in
I
it.
was stronger than a bear. That is not the right word to use.
Okay. Well...
I don't even know that I would say I was smarter than a bear. I would just say that I had a gun and the bear didn't.
Yeah. I agree. I wouldn't put you like one-on-one unarmed against a bear, but like if a bear wants to take on, you know, the city of New York, it's like every bear was against every human. I think the humans would probably win.
I don't think that makes us stronger, though.
Yeah, all right. Well, anyway, you know what he's trying to say.
I don't. Giovanni's an idiot.
He's trying to say if Mewtwo wants to take on human civilization, then he's going to lose. I don't think that he's necessarily
I don't think that's
right.
true.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying I don't think he's necessarily right about that, but...
That's what I'm saying. This entire thesis falls apart at the seams.
Well, Mewtwo believes him, at least at this point.
Mewtwo lived his whole life in a bubble.
So Giovanni offers to join up with Mewtwo so they can rule the world together, and warns him that his power unchecked will just destroy the world, which I think is probably true.
Yeah, but isn't that what he wants?
Not yet. Later he comes to want that. But at this point, I mean, he's still trying to figure out who he is. So Giovanni suits Mewtwo up in a suit of armor and puts him to work for Team Rocket. We get this montage of Mewtwo continuing to doubt himself and question his existence while he's doing Team Rocket things.
Well, he's beating the shit out of Gary's Pokemon.
Yeah, there's a lot of scenes of him beating various trainers in Viridian Gym here. But yeah, one of them is Gary Oak, and this is one of the scenes that tied into an episode of the anime. Because we see when Ash arrives at Viridian City, Gary's there about to challenge the gym. And he goes in, and we see the door open up, revealing Mewtwo. And then the next time we see Gary, he's like leaving the gym, and he's like, "Oh, some weird Pokemon completely wiped my team." But this is the most we see of what actually happened in the fight. We don't actually see that during the show. In fact, we only see Gary from behind here as well. So,
what if the weird Pokemon Gary encountered in the gym was a missing no, and it just corrupted his save?
I would have loved it if they like worked Missing No into the show somehow. That would have been so cool.
I am always dying for Missing No to become real.
Because that's another thing, right? We're talking about like the Hyper Beam bug and how I would have just accepted it as intentional back then. I accepted Missing No as intentional back then.
No, I knew Missing No was an accident.
I didn't. I thought it was in there on purpose. I caught it.
I did too, and it corrupted my save.
It didn't corrupt my save. I was actually kind of lucky on that. But then when I heard that it could corrupt your save, I restarted my game.
Well, like my save was still playable, but like shit got wacky wild after that.
That was when I heard that it could break your save. That was the point where I was like, "Oh, I don't think this is supposed to be in here." But when I first saw it, my instinct was like, "Oh, weird new Pokemon. I better catch it." And I thought it was like some kind of legendary.
I knew all about what it did, what it was.
So anyway, The part where Mewtwo picks up a whole herd of Tauros and then all the rocket grunts just throw balls at them, I thought was really funny.
It's really rude.
It's pretty rude, yeah. Mewtwo's still having his existential crisis. Giovanni tries to answer some of his questions, but he just causes Mewtwo to fly into a rage again, destroying Giovanni's base. This is another scene that tied into the show, because Jesse, James, and Meowth witness this explosion from a distance.
Oh.
And they spot Mewtwo flying out of it. This is also how we know that Giovanni survives this explosion, because Team Rocket find him in the wreckage. I remember, I don't know if this is entirely accurate, because I haven't seen it since it first aired. This episode, I've never watched it again since it first aired here. But I remember they were heading to the base to like meet with Giovanni, and they were like, they were expecting they were going to get fired, basically. And then they were like, what if we quit before we get fired? And then they all just scream, we quit, at the building and start running away. And that's when it explodes. So then they go back. And when they find him, they're like, what do you want us to do? And he's like, just do your jobs for once. And then gets in a helicopter and leaves. And they're like, did you hear what he said? He wants us to do our jobs. And they feel really encouraged by it.
Stupid.
So yeah, Mewtwo returns to the island where he was born, to the wreckage of the lab.
Right, and he says, this looks like a good place to set down my roots.
And he vows to strike back against whoever was responsible for his birth. Whoever that is.
Wow, almost like that's the name of the movie.
Yeah. And now the movie starts, for real. How long are we into this episode? An hour?
Like half an hour.
No, I mean, we've been recording for almost an hour.
Oh, yeah, we have.
And the movie's just starting, for real.
Yeah.
So now Ash is here.
God damn it.
With his traveling group, picnicking in a field, waiting for Brock to make some soup.
And then the most American man ever walks up.
Okay, yeah. First of all, I just want to say the Route 1 theme is playing here, and I like that.
Pokémon マスターを目指し修行の旅を続けるサトシたち一行。天気もいいし、ちょっと野原で一休み。
They're not on Route 1.
Yeah, this trainer, he wants to challenge Ash specifically because Ash has 8 badges, which gives us like an idea of where in the series this takes place. I guess the scenes with Mewtwo in the show also give us a pretty solid idea. But this guy is never named in the movie, but apparently his name is Raymond.
Okay.
He is played by Raymond Johnson, an American host of a Japanese TV show. So he was one of the hosts of Ohasuta, which is short for Ohio Studio. It was a children's morning show that I had heard of because they regularly featured Pokemon news. In fact, I remember around Black and White, a lot of the early reveals of the Gen 5 Pokemon were on Ohasuta.
Oh.
So I guess they had some kind of like close partnership. I think the weekend morning reruns of Pokemon episodes were on Ohasuta. So this is one of the hosts from that show getting a cameo appearance, basically.
Do you think he hams up the accent, or is that just how he speaks?
I wonder. But yeah, it was very clear that he was a genuine American, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because we've had a lot of Japanese actors pretending to be American, and they never quite get it right. But as soon as I heard this guy, I was like, oh, that's the opposite. That's an American guy talking Japanese.
Right, that's a guy I'm not convinced knows Japanese.
Hey, Sokuno boy, you got badge Hachiko getsta Masarata no Satoshi sono hito kana?
In English, this character is played by Maddie Blaustein, who was also the voice of Meowth at this point. We've already talked about her because she played Seymour the Scientist in the show. Remember him?
No.
He was with the Clefairy.
Oh, that weirdo.
Yeah. She also played Kawasaki in the Kirby anime. There's a cool new version of the theme song that plays during this fight.
It's still no. Gotta catch 'em all.
Well, you'll be pleased to know that the English version has a cool new version of Gotta Catch 'Em All to replace this.
Yeah.
I guess if you've never seen this, then you've never heard the movie version of that, have you?
I cannot confirm or deny.
It's pretty good. It's a pretty good version. I remember liking it. But yeah, this whole fight is made cool by the by the song. And also the fact that this trainer sends out a Donphan,
Yeah.
a Pokemon that at the time had never been seen before. It's also not named at all in the movie, so at the time it was just a complete mystery. I remember, like, they didn't reveal the name of it when the movie came out. It was just like, yeah, there's a weird elephant.
Right. Imagine getting all hyped about this new Pokemon and then it turns out to be Donphan.
but I was pretty hyped for it. I remember thinking it was really cool, like the way it turns into a tire when it's rolling around.
But what if instead of a Donphan, he just had a Phanpy?
Phanpy's cool too.
I love Phanpy.
Then what's your point?
I would be way more excited for a Phanpy.
You'd be more okay. I get you.
This cute little elephant totters out.
I gotcha. Yeah, Donphan is the only new Pokemon that appears in this movie, although if we also include the Pikachu's Vacation short, they did also debut Marill and Snubbull in that, so there were a handful of new Pokemon revealed in the theatrical screening.
I'm sorry, are you referring to Pikablue?
I am referring to Pikablue, but the thing is, with Marill and Snubbull, they did say their names in the short, so that was where we learned that was not, in fact, Pikablue.
Rude.
Yeah, Ash's Bulbasaur defeats the Donphan. Raymond sends out a Machamp, which Squirtle defeats. Slightly less believably, but that's fine.
Yeah.
And then Raymond tries to invent triple battles by sending out Pinsir, Venomoth, and Golem all at the same time. And Pikachu takes them all out at once, despite one of them being immune.
Yeah.
That always bothered me.
It bothers me too. But I was also thinking about that in the beginning with Gengar and Onix. I guess it was true that back then Gengar still took ground damage, but as soon as he got an ability, Fissure would not have worked.
No. But at the time, that was still fine and accurate.
Yeah, and then they took away Levitate again anyway. My poor boy Gengar.
But what Pikachu does here was never accurate. That's never been possible.
No.
And they could have so easily fixed it by just using, like, any other Pokemon than Golem.
Right.
But anyway, I loved Raymond just screaming,
Oh my god!
Yeah.
It really made me laugh.
It's pretty good.
That's not what he says in the English version, so it caught me off guard here.
Yeah, it's not something you'd expect in a kid's show like this.
No, but I guess they just don't. It's because like America sees that as a no-no thing to say.
Yeah, I know. But Japan's like, it's an exclamation that they say all the time.
Yeah, and like even over here, I feel like it's fine to say, but America doesn't like it.
Ugh, too many evangelicals.
I love, like, this battle's done, the guy's freaking out, Ash is celebrating, and Brock and Misty are just eating soup and just being like, oh, that guy really sucked.
Ash can't even evolve half his Pokemon and he lost.
And Brock is just like, insufficient raising. Team Rocket are watching, they're very hungry, a common theme.
They're even poorer than the children somehow.
I laughed at, like, when Meowth's complaining about how hungry he is, Jessie's just like, I have a frying pan, and Meowth's like, we don't have any food though.
Yeah.
But she's trying to be helpful, and she does have a frying pan.
She sure does. out in the wilderness? Like, that's a big ask.
They're halfway to eating. They just need food. I really wonder, like, if they just came down the hill and were just like, hey, can we have some soup? Do you think Brock would? I think Brock would probably give him some.
Absolutely. They'd be like, as long as you don't pull any crazy schemes. And they'd be like, we won't. And then they'd eat soup and pull a crazy scheme.
I think the crazy scheme in their mind would be getting the soup.
They'd have concocted some big fake story.
Oh, you're right.
To beg for soup.
They'd show up wearing disguises. It's like it's really obviously them to everyone except Ash. And Brock just goes along with it because he knows they're just starving and have no money. So he's like, yeah, you can have some soup, guys.
Strangers we've definitely never met before.
There's a Fearow. Fearow's a Pokemon you so rarely see.
Good, I don't like Fearow.
But it's up there in the sky and it's got a camera attached to its neck. And it's transmitting a video of Ash to a shadowy figure in a castle.
Definitely not Mewtwo.
And he has a maid who dispatches a Dragonite to deliver a message to Ash. What did you think of the noises they chose for Dragonite to make?
I didn't care for them.
It sounded like a train.
It was weird.
It was a bit strange.
Like, the first time I heard it, I thought for sure that it was like something happening in real life. And then they did it again. I was like, nope, that horrible sound was coming from that big doofus.
Yes, when he hands over the postcard to Ash and he's just like... It really caught me off guard. So yeah, Dragonite, it destroys everything, first of all.
It's so fast. It didn't even know extreme speed yet.
It hands over a little card, and then a hologram of the maid comes out of it and invites Ash to a party hosted by the world's most powerful Pokemon trainer at Pokemon Castle on New Island.
New Island?
Yeah. Not to be mistaken for Mew Island. There's different.
Not only that, but it's like, this is a new settlement that he's just concocted.
Well, presumably the island was already there, right? Because it is the island he was made on.
Yeah, but it probably wasn't called New Island.
Yeah, I guess so. But he has to have, like, registered that. Because
Registered it?
Because there's a ferry to it.
That's true. That's a little weird. Because, like, if there was just a science lab there before, I don't think there would be a ferry set up to travel to and from it.
It was definitely a super secret science lab.
Right.
Like Team Rocket funded secret science happening.
I mean, I guess you can just Deus Ex this whole thing and say that he used his brain powers. Because that's how you can write off this whole movie, really.
Yeah, he just brainwashed people to thinking it had always been there or something.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So they RSVP to the party, and Dragonite heads back, but gets briefly delayed by Team Rocket, who want to know what's going on.
They stop him with that frying pan. It was very impressive.
Yeah. It takes the strength of all three of them, and you can hear them struggling to hold it back. Back in his castle, the shadowy figure, which is obviously Mewtwo, begins using his powers to conjure a storm. And we see Mew wake up in a bubble in a riverbed and fly out into the sky.
Yeah, just chilling down there.
Okay, well, we have to talk about Mew's voice, because I found out something I didn't know.
Okay.
Mew is played by Koichi Yamadera, the voice of Spike Spiegel in Cowboy Bebop.
Okay.
So that, for anybody who doesn't know, I just want to know that means that this voice...
ある虎猫がいた。その猫は好きでもないいろんな飼い主たちに飼われながら100万回死に生き返って100万回生きた。
is the same voice as this voice. Also known for playing Ryoji in Evangelion. Apparently, he appears in every Pokemon movie as a different character each time.
Interesting.
So he must have just been like pals with the people in charge of the Pokemon movies, I guess.
Maybe he just really likes Pokemon.
Maybe. He's also known for being the Japanese voice of Donald Duck, Stitch, and Genie in Disney things. 3 of my favorite Disney characters, all blue.
Donald only wears blue clothes.
Yeah, but he's still mostly blue.
He's a white duck.
Wow. You can't just point out someone's race like that. I guess you can if they're white. Yeah, okay.
What, I'm just supposed to ignore it?
No, you're right. So there's many trainers gathered at the port now, sheltering from the storm. This is my second favorite thing to see. Like, Pokemon in the wild, doing wild Pokemon things, and Pokemon just like chilling with their trainers, you know?
Yeah.
Just feeding them treats and petting them and stuff. There's a lot of that in this scene, and I love to see that.
I'm so glad they did that more in the games.
Yeah, it's the thing that I really like about the newest one, Legends Zeta A. You just meet so many people. Like, I took somebody's Fido for a walk around the park. Like, no battles involved at all in that side quest. Just me walking a dog. It was great. I loved it. I want more of that kind of stuff. Anyway, there's no ferry to New Island because of the storm. This is where we meet Voyager, played by Sachiko Kobayashi, who is an enka singer.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, she performed lots of songs for the series. She did the Pokemon Ondo. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I don't remember how it goes, but I remember it happening.
Yeah. She also performed the ending song for this movie. In English, she has been renamed to Miranda, and she's played by Lisa Ortiz, who we already know as the voice of Amy in Sonic X, Ellis in Battle Arena Toshinden, which means that both voices of Ellis are in this movie, in the 2 different dubs.
Yeah.
She also played Tomoko in Two Heart.
Too strong.
You wish. Voyager tells them that she's never seen a storm this bad before, and she won't allow anyone to go to the island because it would put them in too much danger.
And then everybody says, "Fuck you, lady, I have a Pokemon."
Yeah, Officer Jenny's here too, and she warns them not to try using Pokemon to go because if something goes wrong, the Pokemon Center is closed because the nurse has disappeared. And then Brock goes and looks at the wanted poster.
Wanted, missing woman.
It says wanted, a missing person. Which really made me laugh. But it also really made me laugh. He's looking at the missing person poster, which is just a picture of Nurse Joy, and he's like, wow, why does she look so familiar? And I thought
that was so funny. Like, I knew exactly where it was going, and I was like, but it doesn't work when every single Nurse Joy is the same woman.
Right. The first time I saw this, I didn't connect this at all to the maid. Because we're supposed to connect this to, she looks familiar because that's who Mewtwo's maid is. He's abducted this Nurse Joy to be his maid. And that's what they're trying to lead us to here. But I thought they were just making a joke about how every Nurse Joy looks the same. So it just doesn't land the way they want it to.
No.
Because this is the same in the English version as well. Like, it's that line is directly translated. And it just comes across as a joke.
They could have picked any character other than Officer Jenny, and it would have made sense.
So some trainers leave the port riding their Pokemon while Officer Jenny tries to stop them. There's a guy riding a Pidgeot, a guy riding a Gyarados, a girl riding a Dugong, and a girl riding a Fearow. The Fearow girl is never seen again.
Okay, so did you also find it pathetic that a water gym leader didn't have a single strong water Pokemon to get her through the water?
Yeah, but like, it's accurate.
Nobody in that party had something that could either fly or swim them across.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, I'm trying to think what they have with them at this point. Ash has got the 3 Kanto starters, Pikachu, and Pidgeotto, and I think that's it. I don't think he has a 6th with him at this point, because this would have been after Butterfree had been released.
Butterfree couldn't have done it either.
No. Like Pidgeotto's too small. Brock has no chance. He's got Geodude, Onyx, Zubat, and Vulpix. That's it. Misty, I believe, just has Staryu, Togepi, and Psyduck right now.
When does her Psyduck evolve?
It doesn't.
Oh, right. There was just like a Golduck that she thought her Psyduck evolved into, right?
Yeah, she thinks that her Psyduck has evolved, but it turns out it's just a wild Golduck that likes showing off to girls.
Okay, I forgot that part.
Yeah, and then when she realizes, she's like, it's a Pokemon version of Brock. Yeah, she had, I think, like, not long before this movie would have taken place, she had left her Starmie and Horsey at her gym with her sisters. But, you know,
Horsey.
Starmie would have been her best bet.
Right.
There's no way Horsey could have carried him across, but yeah.
I feel like Starmie could have carried her across.
Yeah.
If it was a Mega Starmie, it would have just run across the sea.
So it looks like Ash and his friends have no way to get there, but then Team Rocket show up in a boat.
A convenient Viking
disguised
boat.
as Vikings, yeah, and offer them a ride. Misty's the only one who seems nervous about this. She puts Togepi in her bag, which is pretty much where it spends most of this movie. I feel like they didn't really know what to do with Togepi.
Yeah, they couldn't have a baby wandering around and babbling the whole time.
Yeah, they just kind of like, they couldn't not have Togepi there because it was such a big part of the show at the time, but they were just kind of like, let's just keep it. Just keep it out of the way. So a big wave washes over the boat and removes Team Rocket's costumes. I love that they attempt to deliver the motto, but it gets interrupted by a second wave capsizing the boat. Like, even the music for the motto is cut short there. It's great. So now they're all in the water.
And now they get their weakest water Pokemon to carry them to the surface.
It's the weakest, it's the strongest ones they've got. Yeah, I did actually, I looked up what Pokemon they had with them at this point, because I always wondered why she used, because Misty uses Staryu. I always wondered why she used Staryu rather than Starmie, but that's because I didn't realize that she didn't have Starmie anymore at this point.
Fool.
Yeah. She finds Brock panicking because he is by far the most unprepared for this situation.
Onyx, help!
And then they're joined by Ash, who's riding his Squirtle.
I don't understand how Fearow Girl could not make it across the water, but they managed to get across on a Squirtle.
Well, they were under the waves.
That is no better.
I mean, what happened to Fearow Girl? We don't know.
I don't know.
Did she die?
Definitely.
We don't. Come to think of it, I wonder if you can see her at the very end when everyone's returned to the port. I wonder if she's there. Because if not, maybe she died.
You mean like when time resets?
Yeah.
That doesn't count, because time reset.
It didn't exactly. No, I don't think time did reset. I think he just... Well, we'll get to it when we get to it.
Okay.
I don't think he actually reset time. They're swimming below the waves for a long time. And then there's this moment where Squirtle is like, oh wait, these guys need to breathe. you actually see him realize it. He's just like not thinking about it. And then he's like, oh crap. And then he nudges Staryu and is like, we need to go up. And then they both go up to the surface. And they're in the eye of the storm now. And they're right next to the island. And Mew is frolicking in the night sky.
As Mews want to do.
Ash and his friends meet the maid, who Brock recognizes as Nurse Joy, but she denies it. Says she was born here. She's always been on this island.
I've lived my whole life in this castle.
And after they leave up to go into the castle, Team Rocket surface. Apparently they rode wheezing through the storm somehow.
Probably just because he's buoyant.
Yeah, that's probably...
They just used him like a life raft.
Yeah. This is also the only one of Team Rocket's Pokemon that appears in this movie, and it's just this shot and never again. Mew's playing on the windmills up in the castle rafters. Do you think this is like a clean energy facility? And do you think it was before Mewtwo rebuilt it?
It definitely was not before Mewtwo rebuilt it.
Okay.
It was a nasty science building that let all of its runoff go into the sea.
Creating many Grimer and muck.
Exactly. A thriving ecosystem of poison types. This whole castle just looks like an 80s sci-fi anime.
It has a real, like almost like alien vibe, I was thinking this whole time.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the architecture, it's like it just has the vibe of the ship where they find the alien eggs, you know?
Yeah.
In the first Alien movie. It's very strange.
It's extremely strange.
Ash and his friends meet the other trainers who made it. There's only 3 of them. And the maid explains that the storm was a test to see who was worthy to meet the master. She asks them to let all of their Pokemon out of their balls. Ash and his friends do not comply with this request.
They're too cool.
Yeah, Ash only lets Bulbasaur and Squirtle out. He keeps Charizard in for now, which does make sense.
Yeah, Charizard's a shit.
Yeah, but we never see his Pidgeotto in this movie at all.
Weird.
Misty only releases Psyduck. Even though we've seen Staryu, she doesn't let it out here. And we never see Goldeen in the movie either.
Well.
And Brock only releases Vulpix, which is the only one of his Pokemon that appears in this movie. He's got 3 others that we just don't see.
Do you think they just didn't want to animate 2 Onyx fighting?
Wait, is there another Onyx here?
There's a Gyarados.
Oh, you mean like when it would be cloned? Yeah, you're right. It's definitely that Vulpix was the most marketable of Brock's Pokemon, so they were just like, yeah, let's get Vulpix out, but not the others.
Like, who would care if 2 Geodude were fighting each other? No one. But when it's Vulpix, it tears at your heartstrings.
Yeah. Team Rocket get locked out when the doors close, so they decide they're going to sneak in through the sewers, and this is where Mew starts following them. Team Rocket, it's funny, like, in a lot of the movies, they're just there to be there. They don't really have a role.
Yeah.
In this one, they actually do serve a fairly important function of, like, showing us what's going on behind the scenes in Mewtwo's castle.
Their important function is to play Dareda with us.
That too. Alright, let's talk about these other 3 trainers who made it here.
Scrimbo, Glumbus, and Quambly.
We've got Sorao, played by Toru Furuya, who we know as the voice of Mario in that original Mario anime movie. The first Popcorn Friends Club we did.
Doki Doki Doki, do it!
That's the one.
Wow.
In English, they changed his name to Corey, and he's played by Ed Paul, also known as Ted Lewis. We know him from lots of things. He also played Giovanni in this, but we know him as the voices of DDD and Escargoon in the Kirby anime. He was the early voice of James, but was not playing James anymore by the time of this movie. But he also played Brock's dad and that talking Ghastly from the Ghost episode we watched.
Oh, yeah.
He was Eiji in Battle Arena Toshinden, and he was Chris's deadbeat dad in Sonic X. Corey has Pidgeot, Scyther, Hitmonlee, Venusaur, Sandslash, and Rhyhorn. And he seems to be based on the typical cool trainer from the games.
Yeah.
Then we've got Umio, played by Wataru Takagi, who we know as the voice of Suezo in Monster Rancher.
Yeah, Suezo.
In English, his name is Fergus, and he's played by Jimmy Zoppi, who we know as Gary and Todd in the show. He also played Foe in Battle Arena Toshinden and Gengar in the Mystery Dungeon anime, the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon special that we watched.
Of Team Meanies. Yeah, I know.
Fergus has Gyarados, Tentacruel, Vaporeon, Seadra, Nidoqueen, and Golduck. By far the least balanced team here.
Right, why the one random Nidoqueen in a water team?
Okay, so I was thinking like the theme of his team is that they're all water types, right? But then that Nidoqueen's there throwing off the balance, and that's when I realized the actual common thing with his team is that they're all blue. This guy picks his Pokemon like I do.
Like an idiot.
I've had an all blue team before. Although I did it in Gen 4 when there was a better type spread of blue Pokemon.
My Vaporeon is purple. And now when I see a blue one, I'm like, ew, what's wrong with that Vaporeon?
Jaundiced Vaporeon. And then we've got this girl. Her name is Sweet. She is played by Aiko Sato, who I think was mostly like presenter for TV shows, but she played Shoka in Time Leap as well. In English, her name was changed to Nisha. I don't know why. And she's played by Amy Birnbaum, who we know as Haruka and Lucy in the F-Zero anime. And she did some replacement Kirby lines in the Kirby anime, but mostly Kirby used his Japanese voice there. And she's got Wigglytuff, Blastoise, Vileplume, Dugong, Ninetales, and Rapidash. Which is
More
a decently balanced team,
Yeah.
She's got 2 water types and 2 fire types, but whatever.
Don't forget Wigglytuff, the star of the show.
Yeah. Which apparently was one of the most powerful early game Pokemon in Red and Blue. I was watching a video about it earlier today. Because Sing...
Is that just because you can evolve it so
It's
early?
because it had really high HP. You can evolve it like almost immediately in Mount Moon. And Sing was like ridiculously overpowered back then because it could put you to sleep for 7 turns and was like way more accurate.
It was way more accurate, and it took you a turn to wake up.
That's right, yeah.
So, like, if your opponent was faster, it would just put you to sleep again.
Yeah. Yeah. So she knows.
She knows how to game the system. The other guy's the one with the Sand Slash, though.
That's true, yeah. We just learned that he was really overpowered as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
And Gyarados, I guess, is pretty overpowered. It would have been even more overpowered. You know, Gyarados was originally supposed to be Water Dragon, but they changed it to Water Flame because it was too powerful.
I was going to say they fixed it with the Mega, but even that was Water Dart.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, Kingdra's Water Dragon, but it's not as powerful as Gyarados.
Yeah, nobody cares about Kingdra.
So anyway, the lights go out and the maid introduces the world's greatest Pokemon trainer, who descends down a beam of light in the center of this weird spiral architecture. It looks like a spiral staircase, but it's not a staircase. It's just like a ramp.
Yeah.
Spiraling all the way up. It's cool, but I don't think it's
Where did
functional.
Mewtwo get his architectural inspiration from? Was he watching just weird anime at the time?
Do you think this is just what he thinks is normal?
Maybe.
Anyway, Team Rocket are making their way through the sewer, being followed by Mew. Nothing really special with them going on right now. We want to get back to Mewtwo, the world's strongest Pokemon trainer and the ultimate Pokemon.
This guy's so full of himself.
Yeah. Fergus takes issue with a Pokemon being a trainer, so Mewtwo makes an example of him and just kind of like tosses him around like a doll. So he has his Gyarados retaliate with Hyper Beam and Mewtwo just reflects it back. And that's kind of like the end of Fergus's role, really.
Yeah. They couldn't give him a starter because they needed Ash to have one of the starters and the other two for the battle. So he just kind of isn't there anymore.
Yeah, it almost feels like they didn't need all 3 of these trainers to be here. Maybe they could have done with
it's
cutting
weird.
one. Mewtwo decides he doesn't need Nurse Joy anymore, so he breaks his control on her and returns her to normal.
But why?
I guess he needed her originally to help with his cloning because she knew so much about Pokemon. And now that she's helped him to lure these trainers here, he just doesn't feel like he needs her anymore.
I guess. I would just think, in for a penny, in for a pound. You've kidnapped and brainwashed a woman.
Yeah, but this is kind of like end goal for him, I think. Like, I think his plan is done. The only reason he wanted these trainers brought here was to increase his, Pokemon collection, basically.
He just helped Team Rocket collect an entire herd of Tauros. Why does he need to lure in trainers?
Because he wanted the Pokemon that belonged to the strongest trainers.
I guess.
That was the whole thing with the storm as well. If they made it through the storm, they must be the strongest trainers with the strongest Pokemon.
Right.
That's all he wanted. Team Rocket have found the cloning lab where there are a Charizard, Venusaur, and Blastoise asleep in tubes, and they've all got funny markings, just like the ones from when Mewtwo was a baby had.
Why do they have funny markings, and why did they only do that with the Pikachu clone and none of the others?
They have funny markings, I think, to denote that they are improved in some way. But I don't know.
About the other
I don't know why
clones?
they just kind of gave up doing it for all the others. Because it really is just the 3 starters and Pikachu. None of the other clones get odd markings.
No.
Yeah, Jessie accidentally activates the cloning machine, which produces a clone of Meowth. And a silhouette of Meowth appears on a screen, and Jessie and James do a da-da-da. It's pretty cute.
Who's that Pokemon?
It was Meowth.
Whoa!
I like that the tone they do it with, like they do it in a kind of like talking to children tone.
Yeah.
And at this point, it just kind of feels like they're doing it for fun. But later on in the movie, when they're still doing it, it feels like they're self-soothing.
Things are getting really bad and really shitty. Let's just see what's going on.
Because after a while of this, Team Rocket are fairly disturbed by what they're seeing. So they, after Meowth is cloned, a recording of Dr. Fuji starts up, talking about Mewtwo's creation and its destruction of the lab. It's unclear when this could have been recorded.
I was having that same thought because he was exploded pretty promptly after Mewtwo woke up.
And he's like talking here about Mewtwo destroying the lab. It's like, so did you know that was going to happen, or you didn't think to warn anyone?
Fanfic.
Back upstairs, Mewtwo is saying that humans are the weakest creatures and that the planet is doomed if they continue to rule it. Brock asks if Mewtwo believes that Pokémon should rule, but Mewtwo says they can't because Pokémon are already subservient to humans. And he gets into a fight about it with Pikachu. But Mewtwo just kind of tosses Pikachu aside and calls him weak. But Ash catches him because he's called Ash Ketchum.
Boo!
Yeah, well, I didn't write it. This is his actual name.
What's his name in Japanese?
He doesn't have a last name in Japanese.
Well, then it doesn't make sense anymore.
He's just Satoshi from Masada Town. In the Japanese version, instead of last names, everybody just always introduces themselves with their hometown. It's like a cultural thing for them, I guess. Corey decides he's going to try to catch Mewtwo and has his Rhyhorn attack. The most unevolved of his Pokemon.
Yeah. Which is a shame, because Rhydon is great.
Yeah, Mewtwo just like throws Rhyhorn across the dining table, and like it slides all the way along the table, and as it falls down the other side, you see it smack its chin on the table. It's like a little bit too real, you know?
A little bit too violent.
Yeah. Ash officially challenges Mewtwo to a battle, and then Mewtwo uses his powers to awaken the Venusaur, Charizard, and Blastoise in the lab. And they just leave.
It sure is convenient that the trainers that made it all had appropriate starters.
That's true. When the clones leave the lab, Mew follows them, revealing itself to Team Rocket for the first time, because it's just like, I don't need to hide from these guys anymore. There's something more interesting happening. Mewtwo says, I guess this was like a common thing that they used to say at the time. Mewtwo says that trainers start out with either Bulbasaur, Charmander, or Squirtle.
Yeah.
If that's true, like, what happened to Brock's? What happened to Misty's? What happened to Fergus's?
Maybe they just don't use them.
So they've just like walking around. So Brock and Misty were just walking around with 2 Pokemon, and they were just like, I don't like this extra one. I'm going to put it away.
Misty has literally already given 2 of her Pokemon away.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
No, they're still her Pokemon. She didn't give them away. They're just at her gym.
You don't know that she doesn't have a Squirtle somewhere.
Okay. Well, I feel like it would have been brought up. I think actually the thing is just that everybody doesn't get a starter.
Well, then how do you Pokemon if you don't get a starter?
Well, I mean, they got a starter, but it just doesn't have to be Bulbasaur. Like, we actually, you know what? We know what Brock's first Pokemon was. It was Onix. Because we've seen a flashback of Brock being given his Onix by his father on his 10th birthday.
His deadbeat dad?
Yeah, he wasn't always a deadbeat. And at one point, he was a gym leader, and he gave Brock his Onix as his first ever Pokemon.
Yeah, that was outside of official channels. That doesn't count. That was an unauthorized starter.
Imagine being the kid at school who has an Onix and all your friends have got like Caterpie and Rattata. And then
I get a Magikarp. I challenge you to a battle.
That's not fair. Your dad's a gym leader.
My mom gave me this one because she said I couldn't hurt myself with it.
Yeah.
And then it turns into Gyarados.
It will never turn into Gyarados.
It will. It'll jump over the mountain and become a dragon.
Anyway, Mewtwo reveals a battlefield out the back of his castle. Luckily, all the trainers also have one of the starters, so it's going to be each starter against each starter. Ash brings out his Charizard, who immediately attacks Mewtwo. I don't think he touches him. I think Mewtwo blocks the fire, but then Mewtwo's just like,
yeah.
Wow, your Charizard's really poorly disciplined.
Ash has 8 badges, so how can he not command a Charizard?
That Charizard's too powerful for 8 badges. I love Ash's Charizard. I don't care that he's a disobedient, smart alecky little prick.
That's just because you see him as aspirational.
Maybe. He eventually gets its respect. He makes friends with Charizard eventually.
And then Charizard leaves.
Well, Charizard comes back pretty frequently, so it's okay. He usually comes back for, like, Pokemon League championships. He wouldn't miss those.
What does he call him on his phone?
Yeah. That's exactly what he does. So, Corey's Venusaur is up first. It loses basically immediately to Mewtwo's one.
I feel like Venusaur and Venusaur is the worst matchup of this group possible.
Yeah.
Like, neither of them would be able to do anything to the other one.
Well, it just picks him up and throws him.
I'm saying if this was real Pokemon.
I know.
The anime is the Yu-Gi-Oh! Of Pokemon.
Nisha's Blastoise has a similar fight. Ash's Charizard is up last, and Ash tells it to use speed rather than power. And it does last a lot longer in a fight than the other two did, but it's still eventually outmatched.
Yeah, and it's outsped, like, immediately, too.
Yeah. It really is just, like, stalling the whole time. That's the only reason its fight lasts longer. But this was a big deal. I remember this being a big deal, because although Charizard was really disobedient, it was also extremely powerful. Like, anytime it did fight something, it would win in the show. So seeing it lose to something was like, oh shit, even Charizard can't beat it.
Oh no.
Because usually, if Ash lost a battle where he used Charizard, it was usually because Charizard took a nap or something. So as the victor, Mewtwo claims his prize.
Every Pokemon.
Yeah. These weird Pokeballs that he summons.
Yeah, these magic eyeball Pokemon seeking Pokeballs.
Yeah. They just start capturing the Pokemon of everybody here and taking them to the cloning lab to create copies of them. Ash tries to protect Bulbasaur and Squirtle by putting them in their Pokeballs, but the balls themselves get captured by Mewtwo's Pokeballs. Pikachu's the one that manages to stay free the longest, just out of sheer panic. So, like, if you think about it, Pikachu's got a phobia of Pokeballs already, so this is even worse for him.
Right.
Like, not only is he being stolen, he's also being put in a Pokeball, which he hates. But it's like, the whole scene is like, upsetting to watch.
And it goes on for so long.
It does. Just like seeing everybody, because everybody's trying really hard to protect their Pokemon, and all of them are completely helpless.
Yeah.
And like we see the Pokemon trying to protect themselves as well, and eventually just not being able to. Like Bulbasaur's whipping the balls away, Squirtle's trying to blow them away with water. I think the Scyther was like slashing at them as well.
Hitmonlee was kicking them.
Yeah. And none of these trainers, like, they're all in there trying to, like, smack the balls away as well. And, like, trying to get in between the balls and their Pokemon. None of them are just, like, letting it happen. So the fact that they're all powerless to stop it just kind of makes it really... It feels bad. It feels bad to watch.
Do you think one of those Pokeballs could suck up a human being?
Yes. I think any Pokeball could.
Has anyone tried?
I think there's probably some kind of like fail-safe in there that when it hits something, it's like, nope, this is human DNA. Don't catch. You know? What
would happen if a person got sucked into a Pokeball?
I've thought about this. I've thought about this so much. You don't know how much I've thought about this because I think a Pokeball can contain anything. Because we know items can go in there.
Okay.
So why not a person? What do you think Bill was testing when he combined himself with a Pokemon? It was a teleporter, right?
Right, it was a fly situation.
I think that's the same technology that the Pokeball uses. I think he was playing with the same tech. I think he thought, you can store an item as energy and put it in a computer, and you can store a Pokemon as energy and put it in a computer. Couldn't we use that same technology to teleport ourselves places? And I think that's what he was doing. He's the guy who made the PC system.
Yeah?
He's that guy. It's his own system. He was doing freaky tests with his system.
You think he's trying to catch human beings to keep them in his PC forever?
I don't know what he's up to, but I don't trust him.
Do you think he's going to give them silly nicknames and Wonder Trade them?
You're going to Wonder Trade for what you think is a Venonat, but it's somebody's grandpa? And he doesn't know where he is.
No. Say hello to Harold. Where's my grandson?
And that's when you find out that grandpas have a trait evolution.
I was just about to say that. Dun, 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 dun. Grandpa has evolved into Poopa.
And now all he can say is Poopa.
What if Grandpa was holding an Everstone?
Didn't they do that? Like in one of the games, isn't there like an in-game trade?
In Generation 4, you can find somebody that will trade you a Haunter. And you'll be like, oh good, I can get a Link trade. I don't have to find another human being. And you trade for that Haunter, and it's holding an Everstone.
That's cruel.
It's cruel.
That trainer was a horrible person.
And then, like, that whole generation, if you were trying to find a Haunter on the GTS to trade, like, you trade a Haunter for a Haunter, you guys both get a Gengar. Like, it was always that same Haunter with the Everstone still attached.
Oh my god. Anyway, eventually, Pikachu does get captured by one of the balls. Takes a long time, but he gets it. But Ash manages to stay on the ball's tail and follow it down a chute to the lab, where Team Rocket are still playing Da-Da-Da as they watch all of the Pokemon go through the machine. And Ash lands on the conveyor belt and tells them he doesn't have time for them today. And he just, like, forcibly rips Pikachu's ball out of the machine and destroys the whole machine in the process.
Yeah, I'm very confused how he exploded the entire machine.
Well, he, like, all of those arms inside it that were doing all the work, he just tears them all out.
Still, the whole machine exploded.
Yeah. I guess it was unstable. It's already been exploded once.
Mewtwo's a Pokemon trainer, not a scientist.
Yeah, he's not a mechanic. That thing was held together by chewing gum. As the machine explodes, all the clone Pokemon begin waking up and leaving. Quite casually.
Yeah.
And all the real Pokemon are released, so Ash gets his Pokemon back. Which is very sweet. It was nice seeing them reunited.
They're gone for 30 whole seconds.
We don't see him reunite with his Charizard, just Pikachu, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle.
Charizard's taking a nap inside the machine.
Back at the battlefield, Mewtwo has cornered all of the humans with his starter clones, but he tells them he's not going to kill them. He opens the doors and he tells them they're free to leave if they can survive the storm.
Without Pokemon.
Yeah, what are they going to do? Swim back?
Yeah. That'll prove how much stronger humans are than Pokemon when they drown in the sea.
There's an explosion behind him which distracts him, and all the clones rush out of it to his side. And then Ash appears walking out of the smoke with all the original Pokemon. And it's pretty badass for Ash.
Badass.
He doesn't get to be cool very often.
It's because Ash isn't cool.
He's kind of cool.
No, he's not.
Even with his hat turned backwards?
Especially with his hat turned backwards.
Yeah, it doesn't quite ring the same these days as it did in the 90s, does it? Ash tries to fist fight Mewtwo. Doesn't work.
No.
And when he gets thrown to the rooftops, Mew saves him with a pink bubble.
He spends the rest of this movie on the roof trying to get down.
He really does. Nobody helps him down. He just has to climb all the way down himself while everything's happening.
Slowly and carefully.
But that feels real though, doesn't it?
A little too real.
So when Mewtwo sees Mew, he flies off the handle again.
Mewtwo's a little unstable.
He wants to prove that he's better than Mew by destroying him. But Mew's just playing. It's very clear that Mew's just playing with him.
Mew's just being cute.
Yeah, Mewtwo gets more and more annoyed because he keeps throwing shadow balls at Mew, which, by the way, a move that didn't exist yet at this point. Didn't exist? Yeah. So Mewtwo's throwing all these shadow balls around. Mew's just kind of like playfully dodging them all. Eventually, Mewtwo lands a hit and sends Mew flying off into the clouds. But then Mew just returns a much more powerful volley and smashes Mewtwo into the stands with it. It's the first time we've seen anybody land a hit on Mewtwo, and it's powerful, and it knocks him down.
And it's this thing.
Yeah, but I love that. Isn't that cool that this cute little thing is like the one thing that can stand up to Mewtwo?
I mean, that's like all the mythical Pokemon. They're all these tiny, adorable things that are connected to horrible events.
Like, Mewtwo's pretty scary in this movie, I think.
Because he's overpowered.
And this is the first time we see him get, like, taken down a peg. So, Mew and Mewtwo argue about whether the real Pokemon or the clones are more powerful, while Meowth translates what Mew's saying for us. And they agree that the clones and the originals will fight without using any moves to settle who is stronger.
I have questions.
Yeah, I thought you might. Go ahead.
So tackle is a move, bite is a move, scratch is a move. What are they doing if they're not using moves?
These, I don't know. They're not using any special moves. Maybe that's the thing.
That's some bullshit.
They're really just like pummeling each other.
Yeah.
These fights are not turn-based. So Ash is just like stuck on the rooftop watching as all the Pokemon just begin beating each other up mercilessly. The music does a really good job selling this as a brutal fight, I think. It's playing a more intense version of a piece of music from the show here. And, we're used to watching Pokemon fight each other, but they managed to sell this as, like, something worse than what we usually see.
Something perverted.
Yeah.
Dark.
Yeah. And Mew and Mewtwo just start clashing against each other in the sky inside bubbles.
Right, they're cheating. The other Pokemon don't have bubbles to hide inside.
Pikachu is refusing to fight its clone. All the others are going for it. Like Bulbasaur and Squirtle, they're both in. But Pikachu, no matter how much its clone tries to convince him to fight back, Pikachu just takes it.
It tries real hard to convince him.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty clear that the clone doesn't want to be doing this either, really, because Pikachu 2, as it's called, is crying as he's smashing Pikachu about. And slowly all the Pokemon begin to collapse from exhaustion. And the humans have a little talk about how pointless the fight is. Because it doesn't matter if they're copies or not, they're all living creatures. Or whatever.
Yeah, but some of them are gross lab creatures.
Meowth's clone approaches him. I kind of forgot about Meowth's clone until this moment.
I love Meowth's clone.
Me too.
Remember when Meowth walked on all fours?
Right, I really like that. So Meowth 2 has Meowth's DNA, but not his experiences. So he doesn't walk on two legs or talk like Team Rocket Meowth does. And I liked that they remembered that, because I feel like they have forgotten that Meowth aren't always supposed to walk on two legs.
Right.
Like, anytime we see a Meowth now, it's always walking on two legs. But that originally was something that made Team Rocket's Meowth weird.
Right.
Because other Meowth all walked on all fours.
And Meowth is cute when he walks on all fours.
Yeah. All of the cat Pokemon are better when they walk on all fours. I'm looking at you, Purloin. Purloin's the
Purloin
worst
is
one.
the most weird.
Yeah, I really don't like seeing a Purloin standing on two legs. It does not look right.
It creeps me out.
Yeah. Also like that Meowth's clone has inherited his slacker attitude. Neither of them are really interested in fighting, so they just talk about the moon instead.
It's a turning point in the battle that these two have come together to think about the moon.
It's really funny that Pikachu was the one who was trying hard to be that turning point, but Meowth is the one that does it. And it's not because he was trying, it's just because they're both too lazy to fight. Anyway, Ash makes it to the bottom. Finally. He's watching what Pikachu is doing. He wants this all to stop. But Nurse Joy says that it's a territory dispute, so they won't stop until one is driven out. Then Mewtwo and Mew clash in the very middle of the arena and take out all the lights of the battlefield. And they start charging, I don't know, psychic beams to fire at each other. And Ash looks around at all the collapsed Pokemon. It gets up and he runs to the center of the arena, begging them to stop. And he gets hit by both of the beams at once. And he falls down in the middle and turns to stone.
So, like, I feel like this was the point where I had seen the movie from, where Ash gets turned to stone.
How?
And it doesn't... Because it was on TV.
Oh, okay.
And, like, I thought the stone beam was, like, a more significant part of this movie.
Oh, right.
It's not.
Well, like you thought
Why
it
does he get
happened
turned into
earlier,
stone?
or-
I mean, like, I thought it was, yeah, like, there's a beam that turned people to stone. I didn't know why.
Oh,
I
right.
didn't know what his purpose was.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff here that isn't really explained. So he falls down in the middle, he turns to stone, shocking Mewtwo and Mew. Pikachu runs to him and tries to wake him. Spends a long time shocking him while everyone watches. Nothing happens.
Oh, so electric moves don't work on rock types?
I don't know if that's what they're trying to say.
Well, they'd be wrong to say it.
This is the famous shot where Pikachu starts to cry and all the other Pokemon around the arena start to cry too. This part always makes me cry every time I watch it.
It kind of makes me laugh now because I remember that meme I saw where Pikachu comes up and places large barrel bombs next to Ash.
Why?
Because he got incapacitated, so you place the barrel bomb while they're asleep, and then you ignite it for double damage. Duh.
Okay.
It's like you've never played Monster Hunter before.
Okay. Well, anyway, I think Ikue... What's her name? Ikue Otani, who plays Pikachu? I think that's her name. She does a really good job selling this. And all the Pokemon around the arena start crying as well. And all the tears magically fly to Ash and somehow they restore him.
Magic!
And that's not explained. That's not explained in any way, but I don't think it matters.
This is not explained, and the power of tears will never happen again.
I guess, like I said earlier, I guess this was foreshadowed by I2 at the beginning, saying that only humans cry when they're sad, which obviously isn't true, because now we have like 50 Pokemon crying because they're sad.
How do you know that doesn't mean they're human?
I guess I don't know. I guess I don't know.
Exactly.
So Ash wakes up, Mewtwo realizes he's been wrong this whole time, decides it'd be best if everyone just forgot about the whole thing. He takes the clones away with him, and he wipes the memories of everybody else, transports them all back to the harbor port.
Can I say that's kind of a wet fart?
You think so?
A little bit.
I like it.
We go through this whole huge thing, and we learn this lesson, and then Mewtwo says, oh, this is actually kind of embarrassing, guys. I'm just gonna wipe your memory, and we'll forget that this ever happened.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't really have an emotional sting.
Spoiler alert.
It
may be further explored in another movie.
Okay.
Yeah, the ending does feel kind of abrupt, but I don't know. There's something I like about it. And we're back at the harbor. The scene's playing out just like it did at the beginning, except now Nurse Joy is there to tell everyone that the Pokemon Center is open as a shelter from the storm. And Ash and his friends don't remember why they were there in the first place.
I feel like it negates the emotional impact of the movie to then immediately kind of undo it.
They didn't exactly undo it. It's not that the events on the island didn't happen, it's just that these people don't remember them. The people who were on the island don't remember it.
Yeah, those are the ones that matter.
Mewtwo remembers. And
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
And I think all the clones remember too.
I feel like they would have to if they're just these weird clones.
Yeah. So the storm clears up. Ash and his friends rush out to look, and Ash spots Mew in the clouds. And then he remembers seeing Ho-Oh on his first day as a trainer. And Misty and Brock tell him that maybe he'll meet the Pokemon that he saw that day again someday. And they set off to continue their journey. Meanwhile, since Mewtwo did not know that Team Rocket were there, they are still on the island.
Where they will die.
But they seem fine with it. They're on a nice little island out in the sun. They seem happy.
And they have the exact amount of food that they always have.
Each other. Over the credits, they play a song called Together with the Wind. Which is by Sachiko Kobayashi, the actor who played Voyager in the movie. And it plays over a bunch of scenes of Ash and his friends continuing their journey through all kinds of locations. I thought it was kind of a sad song.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. Just felt a bit melancholy.
Just sad.
That's it. That's the end of the movie.
We did it. We caught all 50 Pokemon.
So now we have to talk about the dub.
Oh, god damn it.
Wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. To catch them is my real test. Training is my cause.
It was released in the US on November 12th, 1999, dubbed by 4Kids and distributed by Warner Brothers. Here's the thing I remembered earlier that I added to the notes. Apparently 4Kids spoke to other distributors before Warner Brothers, and one of those distributors, they didn't say which one of them asked for them to replace Ash's voice actor with Leonardo DiCaprio.
They should have.
The producer thought that would have been really weird. But Warner Brothers allowed them to use the same actors from the show, so they went with Warner Brothers. All of the music in the movie has been changed because the producer thought that the original soundtrack was too Japanese.
Too Japanese.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
This Japanese show.
I don't know what... also, like, it isn't particularly Japanese.
No, it isn't.
But anyway, I usually think it's bad news when 4Kids replace a soundtrack, but the US soundtrack to this is actually really good. So,
You can go chop 4Kids for once.
yeah. The only thing I'd say is that, as always, 4Kids are a lot less comfortable with silence than the Japanese version is. So I don't think there's a single silent moment in the entire soundtrack, where the Japanese soundtrack has quite a lot of moments of silence. And I kind of think that a lot of them are more powerful with the silence. Like, there's a lot of silence in the soundtrack in the lead up to Ash getting turned to stone, and then, like, the Pokemon crying. A lot of that was silent.
Right.
In the Japanese version, there's no silence there at all. In the English one, it's all scored completely. That also means that a lot of the music from the games that this had is gone. The only Japanese themes they kept were the Team Rocket themes. Hey, I'm recording this later just to add that while I was editing, I noticed that although they did keep this piece of music, they completely rescored it with different instruments for some reason. So here's the Japanese version of the scene.
ピカチュウ、ますます磨きがかかってる。
美しい。ただの一度も勝てなかったニャーたち。しかし、ニャーたちの辞書には諦めという言葉はニャーす。必ずやあのピカチュウを。
あ、でもさ、あれ見てよ。
And here's the English one.
There's another credit on Pikachu's charge account.
We've got to grab it.
I know we gotta grab some rare Pokemon for the boss, but it wouldn't be such a bad idea if we grabbed a little bite to eat, would it?
We didn't come here to steal a meal.
I'd settle for a taste of that Pikachu.
They changed the English one to sound kind of more European, I guess. I don't know why they would have done this instead of just using the original piece of music. I don't know, maybe it cost more to license it than it did for them to rescore it. I don't know, but anyway. I'll go back to the original recording now. Bye! And also the, like, moment of their motto theme that plays before they get swept off the boat. That's it.
Great.
Everything else is new. The biggest change in the music is that the big clone fight has a pop song that plays over it.
Oh no, what is it?
It's called Brother My Brother.
No!
It was original for the movie.
No.
Do you know
it? Yes.
You didn't know that this is where it was from?
I've never watched this movie. Why would I know that?
Well, I know. I just thought if you knew the song, you would know where it was from.
I know a lot of songs. I don't know who sings them.
Okay. Well, you didn't know it was from the Pokemon movie?
No, as previously stated.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's from this. It's written by the same guy who wrote Gotta Catch 'Em All.
It doesn't seem very appropriate.
It's because they kind of tried to change the message. A lot of the kind of existential themes of the movie are gone from the English version, and instead it's kind of like an anti-violence message, which doesn't really make sense to do in Pokemon.
No.
Because Pokemon's largely about violence.
It's entirely about violence.
So yeah, I thought that the clone fight was better with the intense, brutal music that the original had, instead of this, like, I don't know, soulful pop song, but a lot of the sympathetic aspects of Mewtwo's character have been toned down because the producer thought that the American audience would prefer to see a truly evil villain.
Why would they want that?
I don't know. So Mewtwo is more evil in the American version, but he's still not, like, completely unsympathetic.
Right.
But I think that's probably why the entire Amber 2 section of the opening was cut, even though they dubbed it.
Because they'd be like, well, he can't be evil and also have a little child friend.
Well, also, in the dubbed version that they made, when Amber dies, the scientists administer a drug to Mewtwo to make him forget everything that happened.
Okay.
So in the original, there's no suggestion that he doesn't remember but in the dub, it's made very clear to us that he doesn't remember Amber. The English version also makes more of a point to paint the humans as abusive and uncaring towards Mewtwo at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
They also spell out a lot more clearly that Giovanni is funding the whole operation, which I think is true in the Japanese version as well, but they don't explicitly say it.
Right.
Instead of saying that she's never seen a storm like this before, the Harbour Master talks about an ancient legend called the Winds of Water.
The prophets have predicted the return of the Winds of Water. For years I have prayed that mankind would never witness that deadly storm ever again.
Isn't that just a legend?
The ancient writings tell of the storm wiping out all but a few Pokémon. In their sorrow, the water of their tears somehow restored the lives lost in the storm.
So,
okay,
that's obviously trying to explain the ending.
Right.
But it's pretty clumsy. By the way, I'm skipping over a hell of a lot of the changes. If you really want to see a more detailed rundown of everything that was changed between the two versions, there's a bunch of websites that have lists. I'm just picking up on the more interesting things. Like, for example, that Corey thinks his Pidgeot is a Pidgeotto.
It was easy. Hurricane winds are a breeze for Pidgeotto here.
Oh,
yeah.
And he's one of the best trainers?
He's one of the best trainers in the world. And he thinks his Pidgeot's a Pidgeotto. Also, when Team Rocket are watching the cloning machine work and they're playing Who's That Pokemon, when Scyther comes up, they call it Alakazam.
Oh, no.
Apparently, the writers did catch that mistake, but they left it in because they thought it was plausible Team Rocket would make a mistake, and they thought it would be fun for kids to notice it. You know when Team Rocket are listening to Dr. Fuji's recording in the lab?
Yeah.
So we figured out it has to have been made while the lab was being destroyed. That's the only way it makes sense. The English version does a better job of communicating that because they added screaming and explosions to the background of the recording.
But for some reason, the creature's anger is out of control. With its psychic powers, it is destroying our laboratory.
And also, the final words of the recording in the English version are the final words that Fuji said right before the lab exploded, which I think is a nice touch.
We dreamed of creating the world's strongest Pokémon, and we succeeded. We dreamed of creating the world's strongest Pokémon, and we succeeded.
I think that's a good change.
Yeah.
In the dub, Mew is presented more as a heroic figure, because in the original, he's really just a little prankster who's a lot more antagonistic to Mewtwo than he was in the English version.
Yeah.
And when Pikachu's trying to revive Ash, in Japanese, Misty just says Pikachu.
Pikachu.
But in English, she says,
Please no.
And the reason I'm bringing this up is because in the DVD commentary, the English writers reveal that they had a bunch of alternate versions of this line, and one of them was, "My bike."
Why didn't they go with that one?
Yeah, they should have, honestly. It would have been way better. I guess they didn't want to step on the emotional moment, but...
And make Misty look like a sociopath.
It's pretty funny. Also, in the English version, Mewtwo has a lot more to say at the end of the movie. He does a lot of summing up of the moral of the story, which he didn't do in Japanese.
The human sacrificed himself to save the Pokémon. I pitted them against each other, but not until they set aside their differences did I see the true power they all shared deep inside. I see now that the circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant. It is what you do with the gift of life that determines who you are.
No, I think we get it, Mewtwo.
That's the good thing about a character that doesn't have a moving mouth, I guess. You can just put whatever words you want in there. Doesn't matter if he was originally talking or not.
Just go to some stock footage of the camera panning to the side.
Over the credits in the English version, we get a slew of pop songs. I think they were all made for the movie, or at least most of them were. It starts with We're a Miracle by Christina Aguilera. Followed by Hey You, Free Up Your Mind by Emma Bunton, also known as Baby Spice.
Okay.
Then If Only Tears Could Bring You Back to Me by Midnight Suns. And then Don't Say You Love Me by M2M, which I remember the music video for that because that's the song that they most promoted around the movie. And the only thing it has to do with Pokemon is that in the music video, they were watching the movie in a drive-thru. But anyway, yeah, that's it. I honestly think that both versions of this movie are good. I think they're both worth watching for different reasons. I don't know which one I prefer, but the fact that I'm saying that means that they didn't do a bad job with the dub.
Right, for once.
I feel like they usually did a decent job with early Pokemon. Soundtrack is great. Both soundtracks really good, which is shocking. So anyway, yeah, what did you think of this movie? Now that I know that this was your first time seeing it was the Japanese version.
Yeah.
I feel like we should watch the English version, see what you think of it.
I've already seen this movie.
I did it the other way around. I'm very familiar with the English version, but this was my first time seeing it.
Yeah, because you saw it when it came out 700 years ago.
Yeah. But what did you think?
I liked it.
So this movie, it's weird and it's rough and it's scary and there's something beautiful about it, I think. Like, I'm being serious. Like, now that Pokemon's more homogenized, it's lost a lot of what I think makes this movie special.
Right.
Because this movie is full of like mystery and it's got this otherworldly strangeness to it.
Yeah, Mewtwo lives in a sci-fi castle.
Just like everything about it, like all the cloning stuff, these like improved copies of Pokemon. They wouldn't do that now. You wouldn't get Charizard 2 now in a Pokemon movie. It wouldn't happen. And like all that stuff with, you know, the tear, Ash turned into stone and the tears bringing him back. It's got this weirdness to it that makes it feel a lot more kind of artistic and interpretive than any of the later movies do. Because they were still kind of like finding their feet. They didn't quite know what Pokemon was yet. And it's just, I don't know, something special about this movie. And I like most of the movies. I've seen all of the movies up until, I think the Keldeo one was the last one I watched. And then I stopped watching them and I came back at I Choose You, which was garbage.
I was gonna say, I've actually seen 2 Pokemon movies. I forgot that I also saw Lucario and the Mystery of Mew.
Oh, did you like that one? I like that one.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah. That's the one that made Lucario my favorite Pokemon for a while.
Yeah. You never shut up about him.
He's not my favorite anymore. Now it's Gliscor.
Friendship with Lucario ended.
He got too popular.
He sold out.
Everybody liked Lucario after he was in Smash Brothers. But yeah, that's how I feel about this movie. I loved it. Now I've seen it in Japanese, I think I love it even more, because now I know how weird it was really supposed to be.
Well, I didn't really watch Pokemon outside of Johto, except for the 2 movies I somehow saw. So I don't really have an opinion.
Do you have any questions about...
Oh my god, is this recording still going on?
Yeah, there's a legacy mail.
Oh my god, what? What is it?
Well... Can you think of any unresolved plot threads that this movie might have had?
No, it was perfectly sealed. It's a perfect movie. There's nothing.
There's one character who knows about Mewtwo and who wasn't there to get his memory wiped.
Raymond?
It's Giovanni.
Okay.
Giovanni's... What's wrong? What's happening now?
What do you mean? Keep talking. I just didn't think that was a big reveal.
Giovanni's out there looking for Mewtwo. Still.
Okay. His lost son.
Yeah, so they made a straight-to-TV movie called Mewtwo Returns, where not only does Ash meet Mewtwo again, and all the clones, but also Giovanni tracks down Mewtwo, and they have a confrontation. And it's pretty good.
Does he kiss him on the mouth?
You wish. Mewtwo don't kiss on the mouth.
I don't. They don't have a mouth.
The guy who played Mewtwo in this movie also returned to play Mewtwo in the Smash Brothers games. And Mewtwo went on to cameo in the openings to a lot of the other movies. He showed up in the opening to the TV show a few times during the Hoenn era. And he comes back again for real during Pokemon Journeys, which I think was the last series that had Ash as a protagonist. And then they remade this movie in full 3D as Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think I watched it. If I did watch it, I wasn't impressed with it. I think that's the thing. Like when they remade this movie, I think it was for the 20th anniversary of the movie. Or maybe the 25th anniversary, I can't remember. But because it was so much later, they tried to homogenize it in that way that I thought, you know, when I was saying I don't think you could make this movie today, they couldn't.
Yeah.
They cleaned it up and they took out a lot of what made it really like magical and beautiful. So.
And uncanny and weird.
Yeah. The uncanniness is the beautiful part. So yeah. I think that's about it. I guess they've commonly depicted Dragonite as delivery Pokemon since this movie. I don't know if that's a direct legacy of the movie or if that's something that they were doing anyway. It's like a whole short about a Dragonite postman that was made fairly recently.
Postman Pat?
You wish.
No, I don't know him.
Yes, you do. Oh no, you know Postman Tap.
Yeah.
He's a murderer. Anyway, I guess that's the end.
Finally, it's over.
Well, I had a good time. Thanks for watching Pokemon with me, Mel.
You're welcome. It's the only way I was ever gonna watch it.
Yeah, and happy 30th anniversary, Pokemon.
Gross.
We're recording this before the anniversary Pokemon Presents, so I have no idea what's been announced. I assume Generation 10.
Probably Pokemon.
Yeah, I'm assuming that, because this episode's being recorded before the Pokemon Presents, but it will be released after it. So that's my prediction. Pokemon Generation 10 is going to be revealed.
You could give us 10 more Pikachus. 2 of them will have hats on. That's it. That's all they're giving us.
Every Pokemon is a Pikachu now.
They're renaming it to just Pikachu.
Special Pikachu edition.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. Thank you to the Weird Freak Brigade, lining up once again. Jamie Core, Mark Kelly, and Natalie No. And our Mesmeron, Eugene Lattig.
Wow.
If you'd like to join them, you can head to patreon.com/Super Breakfast Friends Club and join up for being weird freaks.
Why would anyone choose that?
Well, maybe because there's all kinds of extras that they can get. And if they join at the Mesmeron tier, they can demand we watch different things that they want us to watch.
Don't remind them of that power.
Also, if you want us to talk about Pokemon more, there's a Patreon exclusive episode over there, all about Pokemon Generations, to celebrate the anniversary. We talked about Pokemon twice this week.
It's too much.
Yeah, I'm Skull Pirate Mike. I'm on twitch.tv/Skull Pirate Mike, and I'm on Blue Sky as well. I think.
You forgot?
Yeah, I'm tired. It's 1 a.m.
Yeah, this has been good. This madness needs to end.
I knew it was going to be a long one. It's a movie episode. They're always long ones.
I know.
Oh, okay.
I never once doubted it was going to be a long one.
Okay, well, bye. I'm very sleepy.
Yeah, me too. This is my whole evening after work.
I know. I'm sorry.